Hello folks, this is Gabriel ILiadis with songwriterandproducer.com, and today I will go through a remix, a production process with you of an original song I already have produced in the past. I will go through this with your participation. I have done a few things, and I will accept any input at my email, which is gabriel@songwriterandproducer.com. Before I set this up, let me take you for a ride here. Let me show you where to find the song, and that is at my YouTube web channel, where you can watch the video also, which I also produced. The name of the channel is Songwriter and Producer. Look for that. Under Originals, here's a song, Suddenly. Before I go and have you listen to this before we rebuild it from scratch, start with the vocals and go from there. All the instrumentation will change step by step. Let me take you to the website. Please go to the website, which is songwriterandproducer.com. Here you'll find a blog where me and guest bloggers write about producer articles and songwriter articles. You'll find the videos also here from a production and songwriting standpoint, and also a bonus section we call Song Critique. And just clicking on the blog, you will see all of that. The latest article here in order of appearance, in order of publish. And feel free to comment on those. Everything that happens around this effort is shown on my Facebook page for songwriterandproducer.com. This is where I'm posting everything around this effort. Finally, Twitter, again, because of truncation, Songwriter and Produce, at Songwriter and PR. Let's listen to what we have up to now before we go into the rebuilding and the remixing of this, okay?
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely, 'cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, what I foresee. It's more than being in love, to know when to let go of. It's also
All right, so I will stop here because for this video, I'd like to concentrate on the verse. So what I'll do is I will just solo just 2 tracks from the vocal, just an aux and one of the main ones, and replay that.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely, 'cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
Okay, so this is not all of the vocal.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be.
I will start from scratch. Yes, maybe 40, 50, 60% of the work is the vocal. Let's go into, the first thing I want to do is find a new drum section, a new rhythm section, and let's start with the drums. So one of my favorite drum plugins is Stylus RMX. You may know this. So I'm going to just put this on and look for something that fits. Now, I have done this. I know where I'm going. These are the tracks that I'm going to show you in the end, post-edit. I want to recreate some of the process, that the hard work that surrounds music production, that only the people that do it really know how tough it is and how time-consuming. So let's loop this. I'm going to start adding drum patterns and see what fits.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the...
Okay, up to now that's been pretty easy because this kind of fits, but I know I can do better. It's too... What I'm thinking is that this is too thick. Maybe it would fit in a pre-chorus or a chorus. Let's see something that I know this will not fit at all because I've done it before, but listen to this.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
Something else.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me.
Way too big, way too...
I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone.
This doesn't fit at all with the vibe of the song. And why? Because it's too big. This is a verse that we want to caress.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible.
I know we can do better. By the way, I have some plugins on here, on the stylus right here. I have the DBX 160, okay, and that is something that I put on drums a lot, even when I'm just editing or I'm at the beginning phases of the production. I have a lot of stuff on the master bus. I will not lie. I always put stuff there, and that's a separate video. But I also have done some heavy EQing. I mean, this is something that I do after I make myself familiar with what I've seen within my drum plugin. I know that this fits. So I'll leave it on. By the way, let me show you what this would sound like without the plugins on. There's a lot of lows right away and other things, but listen to this.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
With them on.
'Cause I have found what I thought impossible.
All right, it cleaned up right away. All right, let's continue.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable.
Maybe, not really crazy about it. I get right away without even playing. This is too big. What about here?
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee? Suddenly.
Okay, so I can divulge that this is what I chose. This is what I went with. You know, the second I heard, especially this one, the first one, Stop and Go 1, I knew right away that this will fit with further editing and processing. And I love the 1, 2, 3, 6 options for fill-ins. 3 or 4 go very well. So for the verse, I'm going to take the stylus out of there. I made my decision. So what I did very quickly, this is a lot of work, but I'm going to explain it in a few seconds. So I printed the pattern, and you can see it here, I have muted it, and then I split, and this is the hard way of doing it, but I split the kick drum and the snare and some other things into different tracks so that I have better control of them. And here is the result.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
So this is post-processing with all of these plugins.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
Without the plugins, and I have upped it, as you see, from -3 to +3 dB.
Suddenly,
Look at this.
my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause
You can't listen to this. So big difference here is made by the EQing. Let me bring this here. All right, so let's listen to it. And there's a lot of work here, as you see. Let's listen.
Suddenly,
Again, just with EQ, right? No compression, no C6.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again.
Already you can hear it better. Bypassing.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again free.
So, with the DBX 160.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
And with a lot of work on the C6.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery.
So let's listen to the snare.
Is beating.
Very important, right? I've talked about my emphasis of importance on snares. Very important. Pitch, I talked about in other videos, of production nature. Pitch and nuance, timbre of the snare among the other basic things within the mixing world. Very important. So I love the snare. I love the snare.
Heart is beating again freely.
Let me use the second half of the verse because we're getting tired of listening to the same thing.
Everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be.
Okay. I'm upping it so you can hear it better. And what is this? Oh, this is the tom, right?
Yeah. My beating heart.
By the way, I'm sorry, before we get to the tom, let's listen to the snare with no plugins. I'm going to go here. There.
Suddenly, everything has changed.
Very different, right? So with the DBX, okay, the first I should always do the EQing. Let's look at the EQ. Yeah, a lot of action here. And look at the left or right side selection of EQ. I'm a huge into not EQing both channels. That's not a rule. There are no rules, but always try to see what happens if you EQ only one side. So left or right or both. See, these are disabled. So, oh, already huge difference just with the EQing. Before, a lot of crap in here. A lot of stuff that needs to be taken out.
Suddenly.
So then, since we fixed it with EQing, let's pronounce it with the DBX and level it. Then, actually I'll put the imaging last. C6 it, I'm going to use this as a verb because the C6 is its own world. I know that the ones that use it regularly know exactly what I'm talking about. It does a number of things. Oh! Now that snare now has gut into it. It's visceral. Let's go all the way out, from this to this. Huge difference. And let's place it now with the imaging. What did I do? Not much, just very wide, by the way, for a snare. Very interesting. Just a little bit to the left, so it tucks itself in. Yeah, sorry, let's listen to this.
Everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, I'll foresee.
Okay, tom with no processing. Go here, well, here maybe. I mean, that's not even audible.
My dreams.
This is one of the most valuable skills of any producer, to listen to something that has 30% incredible sound and 70% crap, and be able to see the 30% and be able to know that he has the tools to take the 70% of crap out, or as much of that as possible, and pronounce the 30. Huge skill. Should we call it selective hearing? Maybe. You have to know what you're looking for. So when you listen to this, let's go back to this.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating.
So that's what I heard. I knew that I can reach this.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought.
Okay, so I mean that's huge, right? Going back to the tom, just before we heard it before, I'm just gonna do the EQ here.
Yeah.
Let me remind you how it is to be before.
Yeah. Again free.
So just EQing
Again free.
here.
Yeah.
You can't hear it, at least, because the DBX is not in, nor the C6. So I'll go DBX first.
The detriment is gone.
Already starting to sound jazzy and good.
I foresee. The detriment.
Here's a C6.
The detriment.
Wow.
Foresee.
Go here.
My misery, I thought.
Again, before.
My misery. My misery.
We can hear some tom now.
My misery, I thought about unstoppable.
And the fill-in down here. Listen to this. Boom. Now, enough with mixing and, the sound engineering of this. Let's get back to production and decisions of taste. I like this because of its motif, because of the pattern. So how this pattern, again, going back to this, fit with just a little bit of DBX and some basic EQing. I'm going to turn this off. So how can I explain this? Let's see.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found.
You know what this is a mix of a complicated pattern that is making you wait. You don't know what's coming in a way, but you do. It's making you want to hear more of what you've heard before. That's how I can describe it in simple, non-musical, non-lingo terms. Something that it's a little marchy. It has the sound of jazz in there, again, especially with the tom, but also rocky at the same time. But the vibe of the song, of the verse of the song, is different than what the nuance of the drums are, and it's going to get better later. Again, I keep saying chocolate and salt mixing together. I've used this analogy, this metaphor in another video.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery, I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within.
I don't think it's possible to describe why producers make the choices they do, especially when it comes down to, this fits with that. It doesn't, because other things could fit. And I'm sure maybe there's a pattern in here that possibly is better. Look at that. I don't know, what is this? Yeah, okay, no.
'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery, I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gonna feel. Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible.
There you go.
My misery, I thought to be unstoppable.
When I hear this, what am I thinking? I'm thinking that fits, very different. It kind of fits, but the first thing I'm thinking is, let's half it down.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating.
Right away, everything that was good about it went away. Okay, I guess again the mix of this being much quicker than the tempo of the verse, mixed in a good result, in my opinion. It's completely wrong from an EQ perspective, but again, I can hear that I can fix it later with a lot of work. But rhythmically, I like this.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery, I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
So with just a little bit of work, we found something that could fit in there somewhere. Let's not forget where we were.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have.
So let's go back, put the mixing hat on, and let me describe, especially if you're using headphones, let me try to describe sound placement. Again, kick, snare, tom.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
All right, but as you can see, for those that understand placement, where the kick comes from, very, very different where compared to the snare. For example, let me try to describe this.
Suddenly,
I'm going to take the tom out.
suddenly, my beating heart.
First of all, the snare is a ton wider.
My beating heart is beating again.
The kick, which usually we like to have it dead center.
My beating heart is beating again.
It looks like I did not make that choice because it's clashing with her vocals.
Is beating again freely.
Although I don't have a placement plugin with what has happened, and no panning at all, I mean, I'm 100% wide. With what has happened with these plugins, I hear the kick has found a place to the upper right side of your headphones. Again, if you're listening with headphones on.
Is beating again.
Do you hear this?
Suddenly.
Here's a place where there's no vocal. The width of that snare.
Suddenly.
And I would up this kick a little bit more, but anyway, this is further down, maybe, master bus and mastering, etc. Let's look at the tom.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me.
The tom is also on the right side, more on the right than on the left, but it's further back.
Within me.
Further back than, or compared to the kick.
Within me.
Let me take the vocals out. Let's listen to this here. First of all three of them are very different placed, very differently placed, and they have obviously very different timbre and nuance. As long as you can hear every single thing that's happening, and every single thing that's happening has a purpose in your mix, then that's a good thing. It's a good thing. All three of these are centered a little to the right, are leaning towards the right. Now that I'm studying this, I realize, which is very interesting. Down here. Okay, let me talk about this now. Over here, as you see, I have a variation. It's a staggered or a crooked, not on the beat type of pattern here. And I did this on purpose, and I'll show you how I did it. Okay. When you are becoming crooked, when you are getting off the grid a little bit, or more than a bit, you make the listener who likes what they hear from here to here want to hear more, or rather you're teasing them because you're using the same elements as over here, but because the pattern or the rhythmic pattern is different, they are begging you to come over here. So again, let me go maybe here. Especially this bump, 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 bump. Ah, bump. You know, there's no snare here. Look at this. bump, 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 because the kick is so busy here, and because of the teasing, there's no snare. I'm sorry, pardon me. There's no snare here, and there's no tom here. Okay, so two things are missing. So the kick drum becomes a lot busier over here in this section, but look how much less. We only have one snare and no toms instead of two snares. And becoming even more complicated here before the fill-in, which is the ultimate, break or complication maybe, or emphasis before we crash and fall back into the rhythm possibly, although in this case different things happen right after that. I'll show you because we're getting to the chorus, but before we fall and crash into our regular rhythm. Let's hear this with a little bit of vocal.
The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, I foresee.
How did that crookedness happen? Let's go back to our drum plugin and look for pattern. So this extremely useful tool has, if you click on Chaos, you'll see something called a Chaos Designer. If we turn this on, there's a pattern variation, I would rename it, level or entry, input. So from this, boom, bum, 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 boom, bum. When I start pulling this up, things will change. See, this is the ultimate example of what I call teasing before. The ear, your brain wants this. That's chocolate, but if you put some salt in it, on and off. The salt is on and off in a mathematically equal weight, okay? Meaning, I did this. What does that mean? Mathematically equal weight. I did this, look, in the last fourth. Okay, for 3/4, I was pretty stable. Yes. So things became weird over here. So 3/4, I'm stable. And here, boom, bum, bum. This is one variation right here that the tom makes. I wish this was more pronounced, and you see that I have clip gained this by 3.6.
I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, I foresee.
Wow, I had this at +10. I don't know if you agree that these are not pronounced enough.
The detriment is gone.
This either.
Supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, I foresee.
Okay, so I varied this with the Chaos Designer, and I sampled it, I printed it, and I edited it. A lot of work. So this is what came around this. Okay, that's how I did it. This, I think, is enough for the drum section of the verse for now. This was Gabriel ILiadis with songwriter and producer.com. Thank you for watching.